We are back! Yeah, down!
Back in business. This episode will be about cover-ups. It's from a question from one of our viewers. Can you do an episode about cover-ups? We certainly can. So let's talk about cover-ups. Explain me, Carlos, what is tattoo cover-up?
That's what it is. It's
pain in the butthole?
It's pretty much like, yeah, you have to cover your old tattoo with something new on top. You basically have to tattoo a new tattoo on top of the old one, yeah? Everyone knows that, right?
To hide it.
Yeah, to hide it. Okay, so, yeah, and I mean, there can be bad and good cover-ups, and there can be cover-ups that you don't need maybe cover, but maybe fixing it, so that's a little different thing.
We get to do cover-ups every now and then. Personally, I haven't done any. Well, I have done some, but you can't call them really a cover-up. But basically, it's covering old tattoos or sometimes even new tattoo that person doesn't like for whatever reasons, and they want to get rid of it by getting a new tattoo. Sometimes it's a trouble, sometimes it's not too bad. One of the reasons of covering tattoo is that they don't like it anymore, and usually it's a trouble with some first tattoos, with small tattoos, with tattoos done for like wrong reasons, or some drunk tattoos at parties.
Yeah, shitty memories. You get some tattoo where there is a shitty memory, you want to get rid of it.
Yeah, sometimes it's a good tattoo. It's just person don't like it for like personal reasons, and it's our job to help them if we can help them. What's the situations when you can't help them?
When I can help them is basically when I realize that it's impossible to do something that looks like a decent cover-up. If I realize that, I'm always been scared of making a cover-up and worried about what the guy's gonna say now. Like, cause cover-up is cover-up, Like, I mean, there is amazing cover-up artists who can cover with many layers, many sessions to tattoo, and it's gone, You have to be super good with that shit,
Yeah, sometimes even a black square will not help, like if tattoo is super raised. Like it's carved up or something, and then even if you put a black over it, that thing will come up and you can still see it, and sometimes you can make it even stand out even more than if you cover with some flat colors, so you have to.
But there is also simple ways to cover. I mean, not always you need these many sessions and layers. Maybe you can make the shape fit to that old tattoo or something. So there's but usually for the big and really like busy pieces, you need these layers, and then it works better. But yeah, I mean, I usually do these simple ways.
If you're lucky with design, and if you're lucky with cover-ups, sometimes it can be covered that you can't tell that there was something underneath. If you can get lines to match and follow the shapes and all that, then it's gone. But what I usually say to people, that cover-up is not gonna make your previous tattoo disappear. It will be something new on the top that will take eyes of it. And the best way to test it is that a good cover-up is to show to somebody who doesn't know what was there before. Because if people know that it's a cover-up, they like to look into it and be like, oh, I found it, I found a gray spot. But if somebody doesn't know and they just look at it and see like, oh, it's a nice tattoo.
Many times, even from the sun reflection, you can see a little. You talked about it before, like the shape, the reliefs and shit. So the person who knows it, some people can get frustrated, That's why you have to always explain. But yeah, that's the thing. There's two.
One is just sort of trying to mask it and put something on top that will take eyes of it. And if you're lucky, if it's something that can be done, you can get it spot on and nobody will ever tell that it's there.
There's also the second layer tattoos. So you basically put on top an image without even thinking to cover. Just make that previous tattoo as a background and make a little bit
I'll show one there, which is just sort of a second layer, and the previous is just as a background. And also I've seen some on the girls when they got lots of like these bright colorful pieces, and then they get bored of it and they just put second layer with some really strong tattoo with some strong outlines, and then you can see that, like, you can see straight away what it's meant to be, but that background gives sort of washed out watercolor effect, because you can't really tell what's there, but it's you can see that there's some shapes and shades, and that's also an option. But obviously, if that thing is important for a person to be gone, like so they don't see it because it's like some personal reasons, some bad memories or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if it's some crazy thing, we always say to like if it's a crazy cover up and you risk that you will not like the cover up, and then it's double the trouble, we always recommend to go to some laser cleaning and see what they can do, and maybe lighten it up, do a couple sessions of laser.
That would be the expensive way.
That's the expensive way, but that's also the best way of not regretting it afterwards.
That would be.
And it also opens, when it's more faded, it opens you up for more options on cover-ups on a lot lighter designs.
Yeah, then there's like pretty much everything you can. If you have a good laser session, or many sessions, depends how much you need. But if the job is done properly, then I've seen some works removed, and you have million options. Like it's pretty much you can do whatever you want. You know, it's gonna work better.
Now, when fashion changes, a lot of these big muscle guys who used to get tribal tattoos, now they want to get into all this like light religious stuff, and they're like, "Oh, can I get an angel on my old tribal?" And then it's like, "No, man, it's not gonna work."
Yeah, you cannot.
And like often it's a good tribal, like it's well done, it fits the shape, it's nice bold lines, and
It's
it's
not
like
that year.
maybe it's good idea to fix this one. They're like, no, I was young and stupid, I don't like this anymore, and that's it's a shame, because it's a well done tattoo, and it's super hard to cover it up.
Yeah, fuck it's just you have to be really, 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 really.
Plus, it's hard to cover it up with the style they want to cover. If you get some Japanese, some dark background, some really strong sleeve, it's most likely gone. But they want all this Behem sort of situation, and it's
You cannot cover something lighter on a darker. You know, you have to. Yeah, you cannot put lighter on darker. So, if you have a tribal and you want realistic, light, smooth, religious
portrait of your grandma,
it's gonna be pretty impossible.
Popular things that often gets covered is names, and it's not usually a problem to cover it, but the problem is usually the size that people want to cover it with. So if they have a name, they want to cover it with something almost the same size. They're like, no, I don't want anything bigger. Then it's a bit more complicated, but with names, they think there's so many options to go with.
Yeah,
Scripts. I've seen a lot of good cover-ups with feathers, with like traditional roses, with some butterflies, where it's a lot of these dark colors, dark lines, and all these things that just that writing underneath just gets lost in all that what's happening.
Like animals also, like darker animals always, like, you know, with the feathers or that
like a background shading.
Yeah, or texture of the feather texture or animal, you know, like the hairy texture you can.
But usually if it's like if it's a name like this big, then cover up should be this big. So then it's definitely.
I think bigger will be better will look, you know, and less you're gonna see. Usually, if it's a script, usually it's really easy to cover. These are the tattoos. I think the covers you can cover pretty easy. If you have a script and you're worried about it, you just have to find proper tattooer who can who can cover this stuff. Like, because scripts to cover should go easy.
Obviously, also a placement. If the script is on here,
Yeah, well, then it's fucked. Also, if it's on top of your eyebrow, it's pretty fucked. Well, you can cover, but fuck, man.
You can get a nice dog's portrait on top of
You
it.
can get sunglasses now. It's pretty coming here. It's the popular shit right now. It's getting there. We're gonna get
Makes
there.
my eyes water just thinking about it.
So I also covered. I wouldn't say it's the most popular cover tattoo because I think scripts are usually, but like upside down tattoos are. I've been covering many upside down tattoos. Like
You
today,
did
I
one-
covered.
You did one today. Another thing with cover-ups is to trust artists and most like trust in what they say they can do. Because people often are so desperate to get rid of it, they're like, I don't care, do whatever, and then you're like, and then people are like, no, it has to be small and all that, and then like I've seen some cover-ups. I think we're pretty much good with saying no to people when we can't do it, but I also seen people with cover-ups on cover-ups that they don't like. So make sure that that person can explain what they're capable of doing.
There's really bad choices. Or you basically, if you mess up a cover up, you pretty much have bigger area of fucked up shit. Maybe you don't see anymore your old tattoo, but there is a giant mess on you now. There is nothing to do with beautiful picture anymore. So
Some weird stuff that people have asked us about cover-ups, and one of them is like, can you just paint over with some light and like skin tone or something?
yeah.
And usually it doesn't work, at least with one go. I don't know. I heard some stories of like all that layering stuff, and it works.
It works.
But it will work. Like, it's usually the people who wanted to get it fast and cheap, and like going many layers, it will most likely work out a lot more expensive, time consuming, and it's really hard to predict what the result's gonna be.
Yeah, like
In my opinion.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, I've seen some crazy artists who do this shit fucking insane. But then again, there's like these layers. Maybe who knows how the tattoo looks after years. But I mean, it's better version anyway.
Yeah, there's also many cover-ups where you see fresh picture and you don't see that much of healed pictures. It's often these super dark black, super dark gray, a bit lighter gray, a bit white, and they look super good pieces when they're fresh, but when they healed, I'm not saying that they bad or anything, and I haven't seen them, but I would like to
They
see
should
them.
be better, or they should be better.
They should be better what was there, but it would be good that someone could point us directions and show some good cover up.
But I
artists.
think there is artists who can do proper shit. It's a hard thing. So it's like I said, you can like also.
But gray color is really good for cover ups. It's really
Yeah.
nice. It's my favorite color on planet. It's how I see my life.
Then there is also black work. That's like pretty simple. Well, it's hard to make flat all black, so it's solid, but in artistic way it's pretty simple. You just have to. There's different black works. There is ornamental black work just with heavy black lines, or just simply covering your arm black, or often do scarification. Like you, there's actually different ways, but usually the best ones are the ones that cost the most, So
Yeah. Also, like there could be, instead of having the image on top of the thing that needs to be covered, you put your main image next to it and put super dark background next to it and cover with that super dark background the thing that needs to be covered. It makes that other object stand out a lot more, and it's going to be super strong background, and then the tattoo you don't like is gone.
yeah.
Unless it's raised, but then even blind person can see it. They can read it. I did one sort of a cover up on a lady. She had some old star, and it looked like just a gray bump. And I put just a bigger star and shaded it out on top of it. But it now looks like she had just a bump in the middle of the two, but it's so raised that it also wasn't like a space where she didn't want it to have something big. That could be like the only cover up I've done. I've done another one on a smiley face, but I went over with the smiley face. So that's another way. Just fix it. Because it was patchy. It was faded, smiley face. So, but the person still wanted smiley face, so we just did it.
Yeah, many times you can just go through just with fixing it. But I understand there's people with some bad story behind, maybe. You know?
Or even like the picture that you've seen it for so long and it's been bad for so long that you just want something else. You don't want to see same rose but with the better
But
line.
sometimes the people cannot imagine how actually that fixed stuff can look. Because sometimes you can fix it so fucking good. Because that image sometimes is so good that it's not done well, but the image is well looking good, you know, as a drawing. So you could fucking fix the drawing, make proper things around, do some weird.
I like what our colleague did on one dude. He had these super old school tattoos, like done like, I don't know, 40 years ago or something. And like it's like a rose with a banner or something, but it was done like in this size, and now it looks like a green spot in this size. But he found like the original or close to original and did bigger on top of it. So he did same designs, same like old school way, just bigger pieces on top, and covered the old tattoos with the same old school, old kind of style tattoos, and they look just super fresh now.
Remember that dude I basically overworked the skin and that ink dropped out? There was this I basically made a script with the spelling mistake, and we both saw it at the same time. I was like, holy shit! There was a little bit of stencil missing, and in that moment I didn't.
The line got connected in the wrong way.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention. I was like, fucking. While I was doing the last line that was going wrong way, me and my customer, we both saw it at the same time. We were like, oh shit! So I was like, fuck. It was like, I don't know, like half of this millimeter, you know, like a tiny bit. You could still, it was still fucked. I think it was P, and I tried it to do B. So the bottom part I was trying, and I'm like, okay. I told the customer like, hey, dude, no worries, everything's gonna be fine. I'm gonna figure out something, and I just thought, fuck it, I'm gonna overwork the skin maybe a little bit, you know. So I cut the skin. Basically, I used the liner for without ink, and I was just going on top a little bit, so
it drops out.
So it's a little brutal way, but I mean, I told my customer, and we both accepted, and he was a good my old customer, kind of my friend. So we just made up the shit, and
I had one guy
it was pretty
who
good.
had
It worked.
It worked.
It worked. It worked.
I saw it. It worked.
Yeah.
I had a guy who had like a Buddhist knot sort of symbol tattooed on his leg, but it wasn't where he wanted. It was a bit off center. So we blacked it out all and did scarification on the top in the center. So it was sort of same. It was same image in reverse, sort of. It was all black around and lines were white, and he was happy with it. So there's some extreme ways.
I think there is always a way. It's just matter of how good you are. Sometimes you just simply not good enough to cover, and that's why you sometimes have to say no.
Or also
it's just like that. But options are always. It's up to you where you go, and
and also it's up to customer how much time, money, and energy they want to put in it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think it's always up to the customer, no matter what, because you're the one that makes choices. You go to the tattooer, you go to the place, you know. In the first place, the stuff that you want to cover is already a mistake from you, so you have to kind of learn from there and start to be more, you know, more focused and figure out. This is like a scar for life, so chill the fuck out.
I have a cover up here. I'll do a close up if you can tell. If you can tell which one of these are cover up and what was underneath there, you get a
Dude, you cannot say shit.
You get a
I mean,
funky
it's
shit.
a fucking weird tattoo, but
Now you
but
gave it away.
it's a
Now we're wrapping this up. So main things about cover-ups is if artists say they can't do it, they most likely can do it. Laser is always an option to give you more options for a cover-up or just get rid of it completely. There's also some extreme ways to go with like overworking skin, doing black work and putting like some scarifications.
But I
and
just
stuff.
want to say about overworking the skin, you can use only, I guess, small areas. It's not gonna be like you overwork B's palm set. Yeah, so
yeah, and that's extreme and proven theories by us, so we don't claim that it works always.
That's some old tribe shit. So don't even try. That.
Blacking it out, having some scarifications on top, having some white ink on top. But that's also more like I've seen people trying it, and it
it's
gives
not
some results.
Really,
But
scratchy. It looks sketchy.
yeah, and the main thing about cover-ups that you have to think that it will be a bigger tattoo, it will be darker tattoo, because if it has to be gone, it has to be gone. Sometimes you can mask it, and I always say, it doesn't guarantee that that tattoo will disappear. It will be something that takes eyes of the thing. And I
Yeah.
think, I don't know, it's usually not one session, right? It's good to have.
Yeah, depends from what's happening there, but yeah, from the simple stuff you can, if you go simple way, you do it quick, and then there is layers and many sessions. But yeah, it's usually it's like that. If it's a big and busy piece that you want to cover, you have to go probably with layer sessions.
Or laser.
Or laser or black work. You cannot do simple and cheap way. So when you have something small, that's always easy way out. So like scripts, like small black and gray stuff. Usually these bad tattoos are always kind of faded and not properly made. Like the home tattoos, they are a little bit less black. These are the easiest way to cover. And color tattoos are the hardest tattoos to cover. And if it gets bigger, it just gets more complicated. So you need layers. So yeah, and it's really up to you how much you want to spend. So it ends up to that point that what your wallet says.
And also we had some people who were like, oh, just put a black square on it. It has to be gone. I don't care, but like that's running into another trouble. Like when you get rid of tattoo and then you realize that you don't like that black square anymore. It's a double trouble.
Yeah.
I would say get a consultation, talk about it, think about it, and then get it done.
Yeah. Again, we end up with this shit. Like, be sure where you go. Because sometimes people can ask big money and they're not even close to good.
Double check shit.
Yeah. Check your shit out, B.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, and don't forget to fucking do that shit that we always say you should do.
Yeah, subscribe, fuckers, and leave some comment if you have anything to say about cover-ups, or maybe something that we haven't talked yet, haven't mentioned, or some ideas for next episode.
Yeah, it's important.
Do your thing.
Just do the shit. Don't
Thank
fuck
you.
around.
Thank you. I would like to thank you billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions times.
Me not. Well, 100.
This is